Look, we all responded differently to distress, right? Maybe you've got that friend whose entire day was ruined because the drive-thru ran out of French fries. Or maybe on the opposite side of the spectrum, you've got that coworker. Let's call him Dave. Well, maybe Dave's truck and his hair and his dog really were all simultaneously on fire this morning, but he still showed up to work on time, even if you have to smell his smoldering scalp all day. When it comes to pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological, some of us become incessantly preoccupied with it, and some of us ignore it until it becomes impossible to ignore. Now, I like to think of a graph with perceived pain on the x-axis and actual harm on the y-axis, both from a 0 to 10 scale. And there's 3 generalized responses that we can have to an adverse event. Now, if you exhibit an exponential response to pain, that is, your perception of harm is greater than the actual harm, well, congratulations, you're a worrier. But this isn't necessarily bad. Worriers are naturally vigilant. You'll make early diagnoses, responding to problems swiftly before they have time to grow. But worry can also leave you paralyzed when you're faced with unsolvable problems or uncertainties too great to predict reliably. Now, if you exhibit a logarithmic response to pain, that is, if your perception of harm is less than the actual harm, you might instead be a masochist. You're probably really resilient, physically and mentally, and society will respect you for it. But it isn't all good news. By stoically neglecting pain, you might be prioritizing short-term performance at the expense of long-term health. Now, in between these two are the realists. All problems that you face are regarded with the most accurate evaluation of the actual threat that they pose. But be aware that realists need expertise to support good decision-making. And while that expertise can be outsourced, they'll still require the mental calm and the unbiased perception to interpret that information wisely. So what does all of this mean? Pain is difficult to diagnose and even more difficult to conquer, even with the help of medical and mental health professionals. I am neither of those things, and this simplified model of 3 different pain responses is just that, simplified. In reality, I may deal with some types of pain linearly and others exponentially, for example. The objective here is to identify how you, as a unique individual, relate to pain. To realize areas where you might struggle, and to understand your areas of natural skill that you can utilize to your advantage in order to deal with pain and adversity.